Welcome back, true crime enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into the dark and disturbing tale of Charles Manson and the infamous Manson family. Get ready to explore the depths of human depravity as we uncover the troubled beginnings of this enigmatic figure, the birth of his malevolent cult, and the gruesome murders that sent shockwaves through society. Charles Milles Manson, the enigmatic and malevolent figure whose life was shrouded in darkness from the very beginning. Born as the nameless Maddox to Kathleen Maddox, a 16-year-old alcoholic prostitute, on November 12, 1934, in Cincinnati, Ohio, Manson's early life was marred by neglect and instability. His mother's inability or unwillingness to give him a name left him adrift, but eventually she named him Charles Milles Maddox. Charles never knew his biological father, and his mother's reckless lifestyle further exacerbated his troubled upbringing. In 1942, when Kathleen was arrested for a failed burglary, Manson was left in the care of his aunt and uncle until her release on parole. As Manson's tumultuous journey through life continued, it took a violent turn in 1952 when he was charged with raping a boy. This heinous act led to his confinement in a maximum security correctional facility in Ohio. Showing a semblance of reform, Manson was eventually released for good behavior. After his release, fate led him to Rosalie Willis, a waitress at a small hospital. They married and relocated to Los Angeles, but Manson's criminal tendencies resurfaced as he was charged with stealing a car and transporting it across state lines. This earned him a 3-year sentence in the infamous Terminal Island prison in San Pedro, California. The marriage to Willis was not destined for happiness, as she eventually moved on with another man and filed for divorce from Manson. By 1967, Charles Manson's life took an inexplicable turn as he sought to escape his troubled past and start anew in the vibrant counterculture of Berkeley, California. Armed with his guitar and magnetic charm, Manson began attracting a group of followers, mostly young women who were drawn to his enigmatic persona. He claimed to hold the will of Jesus Christ and professed that his followers were reincarnations of the original Christians who had followed Jesus. This eclectic group of disciples eventually coalesced into what would become the infamous cult known as the Family. Manson's ability to captivate and manipulate vulnerable minds was evident, and he quickly established a firm grip over his followers, who viewed him with unwavering adoration. Within the boundaries of the Family, Manson crafted a new reality for his devotees, centered around communal living and a shared belief in an impending apocalyptic race war that he referred to as helter-skelter. According to Manson's twisted interpretation of the Beatles' White Album, the race war would lead to the destruction of society as they knew it, with the Family as the only survivors destined to inherit the world. Under Manson's charismatic leadership, the group adopted a drug-fueled lifestyle, indulging in mind-altering substances such as amphetamines and hallucinogens like LSD. These drugs further cemented the sense of unity and devotion among Manson's followers, as they believed that their psychedelic experiences connected them to a higher purpose. The commune-like environment of the Family allowed Manson to exert complete control over its members. It exploited their insecurities, vulnerabilities, and desire for belonging, manipulating them into believing that their salvation lay solely in following his every command. Manson's obsession with music producer Terry Melcher added fuel to the fire of his paranoia. Melcher had previously shown interest in Manson's musical aspirations, but eventually distanced himself from the unstable leader, rejecting any collaboration. This perceived betrayal only fueled Manson's growing anger and delusions of grandeur. As Manson's influence and notoriety expanded, the group sought refuge at the Dusty Spawn Ranch after being evicted from the home of Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. Ranch owner George Spawn allowed the cult to settle there, and in return, Manson's followers catered to the older man's needs, providing him with sexual favors from the young women in the flock. With approximately 100 followers now under his sway, Manson's grandiose vision of helter-skelter reached its disturbing climax. He believed that by orchestrating a series of brutal murders, which he attributed to the influence of the Beatles' cryptic messages, he could ignite the impending race war and hasten the apocalypse. The year was 1969, and under Charles Manson's dark influence, his devoted followers were about to plunge the world into a nightmarish series of murders that would forever haunt the annals of history. Manson's vision of an impending apocalyptic race war, aptly named Helter Skelter, had now reached a chilling crescendo. On July 25, 1969, the first act of this macabre saga unfolded when 3 members of the family carried out the brutal murder of music teacher and PhD candidate Gary Hinman. The group believed that Hinman held a significant inheritance that would fund their apocalyptic cause. However, when their assumption turned out to be false, one of Manson's devoted followers, Bobby Bosolio, took matters into his own hands, fatally stabbing Hinman. Susan Atkins, another member of the cult, then wrote the chilling words "political pig" in Hinman's blood on the walls. Just 2 days later, on August 8, Manson commanded his followers to execute a horrifying attack on actress Sharon Tate's residence. At the time, Tate was 8 months pregnant, and her home was hosting friends, including Jay Sebring, Abigail Folger, and Wojtek Frykowski. Additionally, 18-year-old Stephen Parent was visiting a friend at the Tate guest house that fateful evening. The night descended into an unparalleled bloodbath, with Manson's followers unleashing unimaginable cruelty upon the victims. Sharon Tate and her friends were stabbed multiple times, and the phrase "pig" was written on the walls in Tate's blood. The brutality of the murders sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond, leaving the public horrified and demanding justice. Manson's maniacal vision did not end there. On the following night, August 9, the family struck again, this time claiming the lives of supermarket manager Lino LaBianca and his wife, Rosemary. Manson himself was present during this brutal murder, binding the couple together as his followers carried out the gruesome act. The phrase "war" was carved into Lino LaBianca's abdomen, further reinforcing the cult leader's twisted ideology. As the horrifying details of the Manson family murders emerged, law enforcement agencies were determined to bring Charles Manson and his followers to justice. The investigations led to a series of arrests, and on December 1, 1969, Charles Tex Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Linda Kasabian were apprehended for their roles in the Tate LaBianca murders. Manson himself was already in custody for unrelated charges. The trial, which commenced on June 15, 1970, was a media frenzy, captivating the public's attention and shaping their perception of cults and criminal behavior. Manson's girls appeared in court with X's carved into their foreheads, a haunting symbol of their unwavering loyalty to their leader. Throughout the trial, the accused women vehemently denied Manson's involvement. The proceedings unveiled the dark underbelly of Manson's charisma and manipulation, leaving the world astounded at the depths of human depravity. In 1971, Manson and his co-conspirators were found guilty and sentenced to death. However, the death penalty was later abolished in California, leading to their sentences being commuted to life imprisonment. Manson spent the rest of his life behind bars, becoming a symbol of evil and the malevolent allure of cult leaders. As we come to the end of our gripping journey through the dark and harrowing tale of Charles Manson and the Manson family, we are left with a somber reminder of the power of manipulation and the dangers of unchecked influence. Thank you for joining our journey today. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to click like and subscribe. Until next time, and stay safe.